somewhere that I could sit with other blokes and we could talk about what we've done in our lives, the problems we have. The support that I got from the members within the shed was absolutely fantastic. They were all there for me. A few of the other members have lost their partners as well, and they were able to share their stories with me about it.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Roundtable. In today's two-part mini-series, I was first joined by Rob, who is one of the members at the Gin Gin's Men's Shed. And next week we'll be followed by Keith, who is the president of the Gin Gin's Men's Shed. But first up, we have Rob, who shared insights about his own personal journey and what the men's shed here in Gin Gin has meant for him. But look, stick around to hear his story and find out how you can get involved if it's something you've considered looking into, or if someone else you know of could benefit from what you get to hear today. And also, take into consideration there will be sensitive topics we will be covering, so if you or someone you know of is in need of support, then please call Lifeline on 13 11 14. That number again is 13 11 14. Now, let's dive into it. Hey guys, welcome back to another brand new episode of the Roundtable. Today I'm here in Gin Gin at the men's shed, and I'm also honoured to be joined by one of the members here who is about to share his story about his involvement and how he got involved with the men's shed, but also to kind of share his own insights about what it's meant for him and how it can also help other men. But before we kick off, as always, the round table symbolizes a safe space where stories are shared, voices heard, and lessons learnt. So pull up a seat and join me on the journey, because every story shared here matters. Rob, welcome to the round table.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, and thank you actually for joining me to take the time and share your story about your involvement with the men's shed. So Rob, before we kind of dive into it, can you just share a little bit about yourself and your background?
Yep. I'm a Queensland boy, lived in Queensland all my life. Bit of a vagrant, lived all over Queensland. Spent the last 12, 14 years of my life prior to coming to Gin Gin on the Sunshine Coast. Retired, age 57. Bought a place up here in Gin Gin with the intention of this is where I was going to retire and live out my life. And it's worked out reasonably well so far. Yep.
Nice. So how did you come across the men's shed?
May sound silly. I have two dogs, but originally I only had one dog, and I would walk the dogs through the showgrounds here. And I would always walk past the shed in the morning, and the guys would be sitting out there drinking coffee and telling lies to one another, apparently. And I'd say g'day and keep on going. Well, the next show that was on was the first one that I'd attended here, and the guys here at the shed, they have the shed open during the show. And I came in and I actually stopped and had a chat with them, and the oldest member of the shed, Clive, he told me what a wonderful place it was. Beautiful people, things to do. He encouraged me to come back, and I did. I came back the next Wednesday, they were open, and they grabbed me with open arms. They virtually dragged me inside because of the interest that I had about restoring furniture and being interested in woodworking and stuff like that, and the rest is basically history.
Was that like from coming out of retirement and trying to find something else for yourself to keep you busy, or was it just...
Well, I do have other interests besides the men's shed. I'm a keen motorcyclist. I enjoy going out for a ride. I've done a lap around Australia on my bike with my brother. Every year I go on what's called the Southern Cross Poker Run, where they raise money for the Pajama Foundation. So motorcycling is a big part of my life as well. I'm a member of Ulysses over in Bundaberg. Don't ride with them very often anymore, but motorcycling is a big part of my life, and that's what I was doing most of the time until I actually joined the men's shed. Well, given the men's shed is only 100 metres from where I live, I used to walk down here, and it was somewhere convenient to go, somewhere that I could sit with other blokes and we could talk about what we've done in our lives, the problems we have. It just made a nice, safe space is what it was all about.
What are some of the benefits and changes you've seen in yourself, and also the other men that you've seen, maybe new members that have come through?
The biggest benefit to myself, like as I mentioned earlier, I've been interested in woodworking, doing restoration on furniture, did the do-it-yourself stuff at home, all that sort of stuff. Coming here, there were some exceptionally talented people. And if I see somebody that has a talent that I like, I pick their brains to pieces and get them to teach me. And I'm the same with other people. If I've got something that I can share with them, I do. I spend a lot of time in the shed here teaching other people how to do things and giving them ideas about what they can do to make things for themselves, things for the shop, because we have a little shop. And I picked their brains to pieces, and I learnt some exceptional skills. Unfortunately, those members are no longer with us, and it's sort of fallen back onto me because I got all of that skill. Now I teach it to other people, and I would encourage anybody who has skills to come along to the men's shed and share them, because you get a real buzz out of teaching people stuff, especially when they make something that turns out exceptional. You get a real buzz out of it, you do, and it helps other people. Yeah.
One of the other things I wanted to point out too, like with the benefits of learning new skills, what about with like your mental state? Has that also been?
That's a huge benefit. Like there's so many guys, and there's a lot of women out there as well, who are single for one reason or other, whether their partner has passed away or they've just never married or whatever. And they generally tend to sit at home and don't do a real lot. They don't tend to get involved in community things. We've got a space here where people can come along and they can talk about anything. We generally don't talk too much about politics or religion because you can get heated arguments about that. But how you feeling? Are you well? You know, what's happening with your treatment on whatever may be afflicting you, that sort of stuff. You encourage people to come along and talk about things like that. You also develop this thing where, oh, John hasn't been here for 2 days. Is he okay? Let's ring him and find out. We'd like to keep a check on the people that we, well, not we, but that are members of our shed, just to make sure they're okay. And it may be that, yeah, John's gone off to visit his daughter and has not bothered to tell us. And we generally tell one another when we're going away and won't be here and things like that, so that we know our members are okay. That's a big part of what it's all about as well. You know, we need to make sure we look after each other, and we do. Anybody that comes along here will notice that, because we do have a very special group of people here, and it's good for your mental health to know that somebody's thinking of you, and there are people out there that care about you and what you're doing.
I think that's a great system that you're, making sure you keep in touch with the members who, yeah, as you said, I haven't been in for a couple of days, and just checking in on them is probably something they just needed to, knowing that someone cares.
Yeah.
What would be some of the things they would expect to walk into for the first time, and if they were, interested in wanting to get involved and learn more about the men's shed?
Well, all anybody has to do, whether it's a guy or a woman, because we do have women members in our shed, just turn up. There's always someone here that will take you around, show you what the shed's all about, tell you what the shed's all about. We have a few rules, obviously, because we need to keep people safe within the shed. But we welcome anybody, even if you just come along and say, well, it's really not for me, but we'll show you around the shed anyway. Introduce you to a few people so you can sit down and have a cup of tea or a coffee or a biscuit or whatever. it's all about encouraging people to interact with other people, become part of something, so that you're not at home alone wishing you had something to do.
Wow.
And most people that come here, even if they just come for a visit, they walk away feeling better because they've had a chance to talk to somebody about something. Most people, when they come in here, they'll tell you a little bit about their life and why they're here. It's nice to be able to tell people your life, your story. I love listening to people's stories. It's just why everybody sort of gets pointed towards me when they come to visit the shed. But yeah, if you want to come along and share your story with us, we're here with open arms, yeah.
I can kind of relate to, I love stories as well. That's why I go around with the round table,
Yeah.
collecting these stories of, some of the experiences of what people have gone through, what's helped them along the way in their journey. What have been some of the biggest challenges also for the men's shed here?
For the shed itself, I would say that our biggest challenge is trying to expand the size of our shed. It's a reasonably big shed, but
Hey guys, thanks again for tuning back in. And if you're finding value in today's chat, then please hit that like button, subscribe, and share with someone you know who could possibly benefit from what you've heard in today's show. And please also take into consideration that the topics we have covered may be sensitive. So if you or someone you know of is in need of support, then please call Lifeline on 13 11 14. That number again is 13 11 14. Now let's get back to the show.
we're constrained with space inside. We would like to expand our shed. We have some issues ahead of us on that road to do that. Not something we can sort of talk about in this
Yep.
environment, but we would love to expand our shed. Truly, it would be lovely if we were like some other sheds and we had our own block of land and our own shed on it and we could do exactly as we like. But because we're governed within a lease, within another lease, we don't have the freedom that other sheds have got. However, we've got more than a lot of other sheds have. We have an enormous amount of equipment in there. We've been very fortunate that we've gotten grants from different organisations to buy good quality equipment. From that perspective, you go to the personal aspects of it. People that come along to the shed here sort of expect to be part of something. And from a personal perspective, I lost my wife 3 years ago.
Sorry for your loss.
The support that I got from the members within the shed was absolutely fantastic. They were all there for me. A few of the other members have lost their partners as well, and they were able to share their stories with me about how they managed, how they coped, how they came back from it. It helped with the healing process. And when you come along to the shed, that's what it's about. You know, I've probably said it a couple of times so far speaking with you. It's being part of a group of people who care about you. And if that's what people are looking for, that's what they'll get here. They'll have people that care about you. Like we don't get along with everybody. Nobody does. There will be people that you will really enjoy talking to within the shed. There'll be other people that you'll think, well, you're all right, but you'll generally tend to have a smaller group within the shed that will be very close friends. The other people, yes, you get along with them, but you don't develop those deep friendships. So that's part of what the shed's all about.
If there's something I've kind of missed out in asking you to kind of share with us, like, now's the time for you to expand on that.
Well, I would encourage anybody to come along to the shed just to have a look, even if it's just out of curiosity to see what we do. Because there might be something or somebody that you click with that will make you feel better about yourself give you the feeling of wanting to be part of something.
Mm.
Even to the point where if you just drop in and have a visit, have a cup of tea with us or a coffee and a bicky and that sort of stuff, and have a chat, because we do have really good chats in our smoko room. Then you might decide you don't need anything for the next 6 months, and then you think, oh, I might pop back and see them guys again. That was fun. You're more than welcome to do that. We encourage anybody to come along, because you, as a person, as a human, you need social interaction.
Mm.
You do. You just. A lot of people say they enjoy being by themselves, but when it boils down to it, it can be very boring. Like if you've got pets, you can talk to your pets, but they don't talk back to you. You come along to somewhere like the men's shed, you sit down and talk to people, and they'll talk back to you. They'll interact with you, give you ideas about things that you might be able to do to help yourself if you need some kind of assistance, or, for example, you might be ill, and there's generally someone else who has been ill, and they might be able to sit down with you and say, this is the treatment I got, and these are the physicians or whatever that I've been to. They may be able to help you. All of that stuff gets discussed here. It's not simply about coming along and making toys and doing woodworking stuff. It's all about discussing things that affect you, and hopefully we make things better for people.
I think you guys are doing an amazing job. Like, when I first rocked up unannounced, I wasn't shy to introduce myself, but to see the connection with all the different men here, and even the women that I was surprised to see here, was pretty amazing to see, like a tight knit group of people who are here for the right reasons of companionship, connection, learning new skills, all these amazing things that help keeping you guys like on your toes, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, just to see that, it looks like a really tight knit, close family and connection and bond and mateship, whether female or male, that you guys have developed. So, that's kudos to you guys, for what you're doing.
And probably we do have a lot of fun here, and we poke fun at one another in a nice way, and it's really enjoyable to be able to do that. Like when we rock up here first thing in the morning, we generally don't do anything for half an hour, 3/4 of an hour. We just sit out the front of the shed in the sun like a bunch of old lizards, and we chuck shit at one another. And it's a good laugh. It's a nice way to start the day. It truly does make you feel good. And then you might decide you want to go and do a bit of woodworking or something like that. Or we wander off and make some noise and some sawdust, and it's real good fun. And encourage anyone to come along.
Okay, well, I suppose before we kind of wrap up, what's one or two pieces of advice you could give for someone that's sitting at home, probably watching this podcast and thinking about, maybe I should?
Maybe you should. You'll never know unless you actually come along and have a look. We don't expect everybody that comes along to the shed to join, but at some point, everybody needs to get out. It may sound rude, get off your ass, get out and get involved in something, whether it's a men's shed or whether it's something else. You might join your local car club if you're that way inclined. You might join your local motorcycle group. You need to get out and actually do something, because sitting at home is not a way to live a life. You need to interact with people, do something with your life, live your life. I've spoken to quite a few people, and they say, well, what have you done with your life? And I said, I've lived my life. I've been all over Queensland, been around Australia, been overseas, and I've lived my life. Whereas so many people, it's, what have you done? I've worked. But what have you done? Have you lived your life? Not really. You can do that when you retire. You can live your life, you can get out, you can do stuff, you can meet new people, you can make new friends. It's all about just stepping out of your comfort zone for a little while. And once you stepped outside, you'd be amazed at how different life can be. That would be my advice to anyone.
Man, that's pretty amazing. So, okay. Finally, then, for someone that's interested and wanting to join the men's shed, how can they get a hold of you guys and where?
Righto, well, our men's shed is located in the showgrounds complex in Gingin. Access is via what's called Upland Terrace. We have a gate at the back of the showgrounds. You drive in through there, park out in front of the shed, wander inside and say g'day. It's as simple as that.
How about social media platforms that they could...
We do have a Facebook page. It's Gingin Queensland, in brackets, men's shed. We don't have a huge following on that. I think we've got about 118, maybe 120 followers. We would like to see a lot more. However, I'm sure we'll build up eventually. That's about our only social media platform. It is our only social media platform. But it works. We put stuff up there on occasion and tell people what we're doing, and yeah, hopefully people will have a search for it and have a look at it, because there's some interesting stuff on there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll also put the details of that in the description below when it's all ready to link up and share on your Facebook page, which I'll also do on mine.
Yeah.
So then kind of get the word out with Gingin's men's shed here. So look, Rob, thanks for joining me at the round table, and look, the work you guys are doing, keep it up, and yeah, thank you again for joining me.
Thank you for the opportunity to tell you all about it, mate. It's been great.
Cool.
Cool.